Hi, everybody. It's time for our last list of summer reading book recommendations. This list is horror because that's what you guys are always asking me for when you come into the library. I know a lot of you guys really like it. So, this is a list of books that are perfect for those of you who like to stay up late on summer nights and read something scary. Our first book is called Long Lankin by Lindsay Baraclough. This book is about this tiny village called Briar's Gordon that's under a curse. So the village has been in the grip of a monster known as Long Lankin for centuries. But things are getting worse. And now four kids in the town are setting out to break the curse and figure out how to release their town from the grip of this monster before it's too late. So if you like curses and monster stories and creepy woods, this book is definitely for you. Our next horror recommendation is called There's Someone Inside Your House by Stephanie Perkins. This is kind of like your classic um, like murder story. If you like to watch scary movies where people are trying to figure out, who's the killer, this is definitely the book for you. This is about Makani, who is kind of still new to Nebraska. She moved to her grandmother's town in Nebraska a year ago after she left Hawaii, and there's something in her past that she won't talk about or confront. We don't know why she left Hawaii, but she's here now. She's been here for a year in Nebraska, and suddenly her classmates start dying from gruesome murders. And everybody's afraid, everybody's terrified, and there's no clue about who the killer could be. So, will the hunt for the killer turn up darkness in Makani's own past? If you like this kind of book, which I do not, I am always scared to read it, then you can read it and you can find out. Our next book is called The Dark 30 Southern Tales of the Supernatural by Patricia C. McKissack. This book is a collection of short stories. So if you don't love to sit down and read a whole long book, this could be a good one for you. They're short, scary stories. So the Dark 30, which is where it gets its title, is supposed to be that time just before the sun sets, when it seems like ghost stories could really be real, monsters could really be believed. And this collection is 10 short stories that are sort of designed to be told right at that very creepy time of day when it's getting dark. The stories are all rooted in Southern African American history. So that leaves a little bit of added interest. And they will definitely leave you with chills for a long time after the sun sets. Our next book is called One for Sorrow by Mary Downing Hahn. Mary Downing Hahn has written a lot of scary books and ghost books. So some of you may have read some of her other work. This book takes place in 1918. The influenza epidemic is raging. We all kind of know what that feels like. And Annie is the new girl in school. But in spite of the influenza epidemic, her biggest problem is that she's been kind of claimed by this girl, Elsie, who is the school bully. And Annie is sort of forced to be her friend. But Elsie is really terrible and mean. Annie doesn't really want to be her friend. So Elsie ends up getting influenza and she dies. And Annie thinks that she's kind of free from being tormented by this bully. But what she doesn't realize is that's just the beginning. Elsie comes back from beyond the grave as a ghost, and she is going to reclaim her friend no matter what it takes. So if you like ghost stories, this one is a good one for you. Our next book is called Fear. It is 13 short stories, horror stories by 13 different authors, but it's kind of all presented by R.L. Stine. And these horror stories cover everything from ghosts to werewolves to murderers, cannibals, like you name it, it's in there. All of the stories are by award-winning authors, and they will definitely leave you on the edge of your seat. And our last horror recommendation is, of course, by R.L. Stine himself. It's called Can You Keep a Secret? It's a Fear Street novel. There's a whole series. This one is about Emmy and Eddie, who are high school sweethearts. They go on an overnight camping trip in the woods with some of their friends, and they end up finding a fortune in cash stashed away in the woods. They make a pact that they're going to leave the money, but Emmy ends up really needing it. So she goes back to take just a little bit of cash from what they found, and she finds that the money is gone. And then things really start to get bad. So the friends that were on the camping trip now, no one trusts each other. There's secrets, there's threats. Um, People are dying, and nobody knows who to believe or what they should be afraid of. So those are our horror story recommendations. If you want more horror books or scary books, you can use your public library card to go to gcls.org, which is the Gloucester County Library System's website. And they have hundreds of ebooks and audiobooks that you can download and read right from home until you are able to get back into the library and check out paper copies of books. So this was actually our last list of books for summer reading suggestions. I hope that you guys enjoyed them. I hope you find something good to read. And I hope everybody has a great weekend.